Hometown Murder Tour is a true crime podcast for entertainment purposes only, assuming you find us entertaining.
That being said, stories of violence, sexual assault, and other criminal acts will be discussed, using adult language. Consider this your warning.
Okay, we are recording starting now.
Oh,
hi. Hi.
Hi.
This is Hometown Murder Tour.
Yes.
I'm Amy.
I'm Sarah.
Welcome to
Welcome.
another episode. Episode 5, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
If you are just now tuning in, we cruise around our hometown of Springfield, Missouri,
In the 417.
Woo! Or the surrounding area.
Yep.
And cover some of the hometown murders that are interesting to us.
Yep.
And so we kind of drive around and record those and, talk about it.
We're on our way to our next murder site. So we are north of Springfield. We've come down, what road was that?
I-44.
I-44. Okay, north of town. We are headed in the direction of McDaniel Lake.
So very, very north Springfield.
Yeah. So actually it's kind of like literally you leave, there's one stoplight and then bam, you're in the middle of wilderness. Farmland.
It gets very rural very quickly.
Quick. Escalated.
And it's not even, we like to kind of give you the neighborhood area.
It's not in a neighborhood.
This is not in a neighborhood. It's just north of I-44.
It's all farm
North
roads.
Springfield. Yep.
Farmland.
There are some houses kind of together, like off of different streets or whatever, but for the most part, homes are fairly spaced apart. Most of the homes have several acres. Like I said, there are a few, though, that are sort of nestled all together.
Is this where you're in?
No.
Oh. I needed to turn my map back on.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
Oh no, because we passed
Yeah.
this house. Okay. So we're headed, like I said, toward McDaniel Lake. It's not like one of the lakes. See, that little farmer just waved at us. See, nice farm town.
nice farm town.
Yeah.
Up here.
McDaniel Lake. It's not a lake like Table Rock where people like have houses
Right.
and go on boating. It's more like, I don't know. Are you even allowed to get in it?
I don't know. We did not do our research
Nope.
about the area as much, but I'm wondering if it's more of like the reservoir. There is a dam, the
I think
McDaniel
it's a
Lake Dam,
reservoir.
and I know that there's a river, which we made a joke about it. It's the Little Sac River.
You said sack.
Sack.
Where's the big sack?
And so it like feeds in, and then they've made the lake, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Oh, it's
That's
a little.
a lot. So we just passed one of these houses, kind of a cluster of houses, but it literally had every kind of outdoor statue you could find.
Yes, and like those lawn globes.
Yep, globes,
I think they had several.
statues, the little pinwheels.
Mhm.
So that was a lot.
So I think it's up here. I think we have to turn up here.
Okay. It was across from there. So no,
We can say the road, right?
Yeah, what road are we on?
No, well, we're turning the case is off of North Farm Road.
145.
No,
Nope.
no, North Farm Road 1.
Nope. 76. No one, just 76.
Jesus. Okay.
You'll know when
Stop.
you see it because the house on the corner, I put this in air quotes.
Piner's Corner.
It used to be maybe like a store / convenient. I don't know what's happening, but it's terrifying.
It is.
And they
pretty
might
rough.
actually be living in the RV that's behind it. Oh, they have chickens.
So Farm Road 74, 76.
And that's like a witch house.
Is that a house?
That is a witch house.
There are
Guys.
multiple. Okay, holy shit! It's probably like maybe a 2-bedroom house max.
I'm gonna go.
Super.
'cause I
Yeah,
don't wanna
drive
get shot.
past that. I have never seen so many wind chimes
Or
fake flowers on a property in my life. What the hell?
You know what? It's probably like a gypsy witch burial ground.
Something.
Oh, look at this one. Ooh, that's cool.
There's a brown sign. What is that?
Brown sign.
Green County Historic Site. Oh,
Glidewell School.
So there's this little historic brick school site
Turned
up here
into
apparently.
a house. A
Someone
lovely
lives there.
house.
Yeah.
Too bad their neighbors are witches.
Right. Gypsy witches.
Gypsy witches. It's a very
Which, if we have any gypsy witches that are listening to the podcast,
No offense.
like we appreciate that you're listening, and we're glad to have you.
Yes, welcome. Look at this. What is this? Underground-ish, maybe.
Is that an underground house?
Or a
Like
bunker.
a bunker?
Or,
with a camper.
Or burned down, but
You
then a
don't
camper.
stop in front of it.
Sorry.
As we're driving down the street, we're just stopping in front of every house we want to talk about.
It doesn't look
So
suspicious at
that
all.
we just passed, it looked like an underground bunker-ish of some kind.
I bet they are, what do they call those people?
Preppers.
Yeah. Is that
Doomsday.
What it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I knew you'd know.
But there's also some very nice, as we keep going,
Right. There's some nice, like,
farmland. There's
farmland with a nice big house. Not that it has to
and
be
even
big.
some like older farmhouses that are very well kept. They have good land. It looks like they've got some horses and cattle, and so this is a really interesting road.
It's a hodgepodge, if you will.
We should be coming up, I think, on the
I
site.
think it's
So
right up here.
this is the Roland Comstock homicide case that we're going to talk about. He lived at a house on this road, a very large house. We'll talk a little bit more about that.
There's a large
Lots of land. What did it say? Like 12 acres?
Yeah, there's a lot of land. Okay, I'm gonna just pull over
Here
here
it
in this
is.
little side. Should I pull in and back in?
out. Yep.
Like,
Or back
in?
into it so we can get out of
Okay.
here. So there's the house right there. We can see it with the gates.
okay, so it's gated, everyone. It has a brick kind of opening, but then metal, like pneumatic. Is that how they say it?
I think so. Yes.
Electric, not electric fence. Well, it could be electric.
It runs
we don't
on
know.
It
opens.
Yes.
You know, electricity.
Yes.
But then it has like a
Chain link.
7 foot.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it?
About
Or 10 foot?
Yeah.
100 feet chain link fence with barbed wire at the top.
All the way around.
All the way around. Kind of like you see at prisons.
Yeah. Like it
So-
for real. Yeah. This is really interesting.
I'm going to back up a little
And the
bit more.
gate itself, we'll talk about the gate when we get to the gate. But I'm surprised at how it looks right now.
Well, from here it's pretty janky. So we're
Yeah.
not sure if anyone lives there currently.
This is pretty crazy.
Okay,
We're going to start. I'm going to go ahead and let's kind of get our bearings and get all that ready to go.
Okay.
And then we will be right back, you guys, and let's start the Roland Comstock homicide.
Hometown Murder Tour is brought to you by Serendipity Designs, offering handmade leather jewelry that is simply to die for.
Go to serendipitydesigns.com and enter the promo code MurderTour, all one word, for an additional 10% off your order. That's SARAHNDIPITY designs.com. Don't miss out on this killer deal.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go. So today we are talking, as we said, about the murder of Roland Lee Comstock. And when you go online to look up, like we always try to start with the obituary, there is no information. It just says Roland Lee Comstock, 70, passed away Tuesday, July 3rd, 2007, in his home. An informal memorial. I'm sorry, I'm real distracted because
There's a dog
Yep.
in the property
Yep. So
that
we're
just showed up and started barking at us.
we're parked.
Let's roll up my side of the window. Maybe he hears us talking. So maybe someone does live there, apparently, because they got a dog who's now barking at us because we're
Well,
sitting kind of close to the
He's
house.
not looking at us.
He's not.
It's
It's fine. Continue.
okay. Sorry. Anyway, the obituary, there really wasn't information. They just had an informal memorial gathering afterwards. So that's that.
Yeah.
As far as...
I mean, we could talk about like his books and kind of what he was known for.
So,
he was an attorney.
Yes. He was an attorney in Springfield that was, obviously what paid the bills.
Yes.
But what his passion was his book collection. And he is actually known nationwide, maybe even
worldwide. I think he had,
for his book collection. So his library he had built onto this house that is already a big-ass house. Sorry, helicopters. I'm getting real paranoid.
Listen, we got dogs after us. We've got helicopters
I feel like
coming.
we are about to get arrested, but we are going to continue on because we care, damn it.
This podcast
matters.
Is important enough that
our 5 listeners
yep.
need to hear this shit. Okay. So, he built this library onto the house. It's 32 by 35 feet with a gallery at the second level. You can actually find it online. It's pretty impressive for a home library.
He did, I think at one point, C-SPAN did a whole thing on it back in the, I think, early 2000s or the 90s. They interviewed him and showed the library. It was this huge deal.
It cost $200,000 to build the actual library, but he said it devalued the house by $300,000 because he was like, who in the heck wants this library?
That? Right.
So, but he did it for himself because that's what he loved. That was added in 1992, and of course he has European inspired antique tables and chairs, so it has that very library-esque.
And you can look it up online. Roland, is it Comstock? Comstock. Roland Comstock Library. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's just thousands of books.
I love that, when he was interviewed, people, of course, would ask, how many of these have you read? And he would always tell them that he's read every one. And I'm down to the G's going around the second time. So, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, let's see what else. Not just a book fanatic. That was his passion. He had over 50,000 items. 90% were books. He also had, photographs, autographs, signed magazines, and so forth. He, he could tell. Oh, he color-coded.
Yeah, he had a whole system in this library. And
I wouldn't say it was the Dewey Decimal System, but he had it, color-coded.
His system.
Yeah. Red stickers were for signed or inscribed books. Blue were for unsigned U.S. editions, and green for unsigned English editions. He, of course, wanted to have more of the red than anything else. Most of the authors upstairs were dead. I guess that was also a way to organize everything. So, as we said, he was a tax and probate lawyer. He would spend a week or two each month going across the United States to visit major independent bookstores for signings and readings and catching up on the latest literary gossip.
They knew him at bookshops. A lot of the authors even knew about him and would sign his books and things for him.
It looks like Allen Ginsberg. He's met him many times, and he had more than 85 items that he'd signed personally.
There's a helicopter again.
Mm-hmm. Guys, we are going down.
Flying
I hope
around.
you appreciate this. So before, in the beginning of Comstock's life, he always had a passion for books and reading and education. So he actually started out as a French teacher in Mountain Grove, which, if you're from around this area, it's a little small town north of Springfield. He moved to Kansas City then to pursue his master's degree in British history. But his father talked him into getting his law degree because obviously he knew that was going to pay the bills. His most valuable editions were Lucky Jim by the now deceased British writer Kingsley Amis. One of his favorites. It's difficult to get a hold of a copy. His is worth about $2,000. Other books: Lord of the Flies, Catch-22.
Sorry, guys. There's a helicopter. Legit is just kind of hovering around, circling.
Yeah,
So
it's fine. We may move here in a minute. Just so you don't have to keep listening to us be worried about it. Okay, so back to the books. You get the idea.
You get the idea.
He had a lot of books. A lot of people knew him.
Shitload of books.
Yeah.
He was known for this. Interviewed, known kind of worldwide. Seems like a pretty interesting guy.
Yeah.
You know.
And he was actually quoted in saying, and you know, maybe it's
This will come in here in a little bit when we get to the case, but
just a little morsel for you. So this is an actual quote he gave in an interview. I wouldn't want to say without checking to see if this room is bugged, Comstock said, but if my wife would hear me say that we're running very short on room, I think she'd murder me tonight. So that was a question of if he was going to get more books or...
yeah, if you had to build on, his response was, well,
I don't want to say.
my wife might kill me.
Uh-huh.
We'll get to that.
There's that. Okay, so,
The murder itself.
okay.
Let's start with what happened, right?
Okay, you go.
Well, okay. So, it says that on July 3rd, 2007, he was found by his longtime paralegal friend. She was his assistant. I think she checked in on him often.
Couldn't get a hold of him. Though.
Yeah, it says here that she became concerned when Comstock didn't answer his cell phone, and she got a continual busy signal on the home phone, so she headed out to his house in northern Greene County. So here where we are right now. It said that the Comstock house isn't far from McDaniel Lake. It's surrounded by dense woods and a wrought iron fence and gate that you have to put a code in to enter. She punched in the numbers, and she drove up the long driveway to the house. It was there then that she found his body. He had been shot 4 times, twice in the back of the head, once in the face, and once in the abdomen. So, like...
a lot.
Damn.
It was kind of
overkill,
if you will.
So, a couple things I want to bring up about what was found there. He had some hybrid wolves as pets.
As one does.
As one does. I mean, you just have your hybrid wolves on your property.
Yep.
She made the statement that when she got out of her car, she was greeted by the haunting, howling sounds of Comstock's 2 hybrid wolves. And she says that it's likely they were grieving, is what she said about the wolves there. There's another comment about the wolves and kind of the state of the house that I wanted to read. When I first read this, I thought that maybe it was a little iffy because it came from a blog that this lady has a blog. She hasn't posted anything since 2015, but it's called Crime Scene Investigations at blogspot.com. Haley Baird is who writes this blog. She does a pretty good job of covering a lot of Southwest Missouri cases. So she mentioned this, and I kind of thought, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But in some of the other articles I was reading, there was some KSPR stuff, some KY3 stuff that also mentioned very similar things to this. So I'm going to go with it. Here's what it says. So, the former lead investigator for the Greene County Sheriff's Office, his name's Frank Duran. He was investigating the case at the time. He told jurors, he said the house was filthy and that the wolves had urinated and defecated throughout the house and had used furniture as chew toys.
Oh, of course.
This was while he was living there. Like, this is how they found the house. Now, get this. I need you to hear this because I feel like this needs to go on one of our WTAFs.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Nope.
Duran said that the kitchen, dining room, and den area on the bottom floor of the house had so many ticks covering it that they crunched and exploded under investigators' feet, leaving bloody footprints. He also testified that other than the crime scene, investigators' bloody footprints, the only other footprints anywhere near where Comstock was found belonged to the dead man. So, like, Comstock had bloody footprints, his own bloody footprints through the house because of the ticks.
Oh.
Like,
that's...
what
the fuck?
How do you have so many ticks on your floor that when you walk around, you're squishing them so much and leaving bloody footprints?
And it's just
like,
unimaginable.
I don't couple
No.
things. Like, one, how? Two, how?
And three.
And three,
What the how?
How? Because, and this assistant checked on him regularly. Like, at what point are you going to say, hey, listen, man, your wolves are eating your furniture and shitting everywhere, and you have so many ticks.
Maybe that's why she was checking on him, because she was like, I don't know how to help this man.
Ticks? Like, anyway, I don't even understand.
No.
So I wanted to bring that up just because what
I did not
the hell?
read that. That is a juicy,
literally
crunchy morsel.
tidbit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Put that
Yep,
here.
I can't. Okay, so
that's
speaking of, he
yes.
was in poor health.
Yes, okay.
Okay,
Which
so
maybe
obviously we know he did not take care of himself. So I don't know if this is the time to bring up that he was married,
yes.
but had divorced in 2005, I believe.
So 2 years before this murder,
Yes.
he had divorced
So,
his wife. Not on good terms.
No, very contentious. And I would say that when they were together, I'm guessing from the divorce till the murder, that's when everything declined. Like, hey, I'm going to bring the wolves inside, or we're going to live together with the ticks. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
maybe the ticks were his friends.
Do we want to talk a little bit about the divorce and kind of what happened with that, or is that?
Yeah, this was more about his health. Yeah. So,
So the reason they got divorced, his wife,
which didn't actually come out until the trial.
right?
Which
Is that in there? So
it is.
Okay.
But do we want to get to the trial yet?
No.
Okay. Then, but you can still bring it up. I'm just saying it didn't come out
Right.
until
so
the trial.
the divorce, very contentious. They were married for what was it, like 38 years?
Yeah, 38
and her
years.
name, Alberta
Alberta,
Comstock.
mhm.
We'll hear about her quite a bit.
So they were in a big dispute over $215,000 of the divorce
Settlement,
basically.
basically.
Yes.
That
he was supposed to pay her.
Yeah, and he hadn't yet, and then there was some, and we're not going to go through all the details, but it was like he paid part of it, and she claimed she didn't get it, and then they and then her lawyer at the time was kind of shady about it, about not receiving. There was just a lot of drama and issues with this settlement money. They got divorced because she had discovered some salacious, I guess,
Photographs.
some photographs of Roland with another gentleman. She confronted him about it, and he kind of said, well, yes, I am a homosexual.
As she put it in the trial that he was confused or questioning or something like that.
Yes, and he had stated he actually wanted to stay married.
Yeah.
He wanted to continue to basically keep things the way they were, and she did not, and was very angry about it. I think in one of the things I read, she said she couldn't even look at him. So that's kind of how this marriage ended, and then it just kind of snowballed from there as far as like with the money and all of that.
Right. So when she found out about the murder, she had been quoted as saying, I wouldn't have minded if he died of a damn heart attack because everyone expected that. And she said, but not this. So, not the most warm reaction to finding out your ex-husband.
I mean,
of
she's
38
like, I
years.
wanted him to die, just not this way.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
like,
yikes.
Okay, so they did have one son together.
Yes.
And then he had adopted her 4 older children.
Yep.
So she had already had 4 kids before they even got together.
From a previous marriage, I think. Yep.
Which, if they were married at 38 years, it seems like, I mean, math's not my strong suit, but she either had those 4 kids real quickly or...
I mean, she could have. I mean, if they were, like in their 70s during this? Maybe. So, yeah.
I guess. And she had just, when she found out, she herself had just got out of the hospital with a heart attack. So she's quoted as saying, I'm having pains in my heart again, and I don't want to go back. The stress of this is about to get me. So again, it was like all about her. She doesn't sound like the most pleasant person.
No.
honestly, or the most compassionate to him.
Right. And I mean, I'm not going to get into, I can't imagine
No.
finding out that your husband of 38 years, like you know,
has
all
a different
has a
life.
different life and all that. So like but yes, in general, her reaction to this, I think you're going to find, like, as we get through this case and kind of the details of it, it makes a little bit of sense.
Right.
But yeah.
So basically, nothing happens. They have no leads.
Mm-mm.
They have nothing. There's no charges filed. Anything.
They did find a few things.
They did, but
They were investigating still after
Right.
a year.
so in a year, it's still a cold case.
Yeah.
Right. A year after. So a year later, Alberta, 68. See, not even in her 70s. Anyway.
all right.
And her son, 40-year-old Michael Comstock, are being investigated for the murder, basically.
Yes. Because, is this the one where they find a few things in the home that kind of point towards them, which Michael Comstock, the son, lived nearby. And I read
But
a thing.
also they were estranged, right? Because he was like he said, you know, he had drug problems and that his dad had disowned him.
Yes, but I read a thing where it said he lived kind of adjacent.
Okay.
So he lived very close to the property.
All right.
Maybe right where we're parked right now.
Maybe that's why the gate's up right
I
here.
mean, yeah.
Could be. So, anyway, they're started to investigate. They, they had DNA basically
From a cigarette butt.
That matched
So they had-
Michael.
Yeah, so they found a cigarette butt in the home from Michael. Mm-hmm. And then is there a thing about the case? Yeah, they found a gun. No, they didn't find the gun. They found 38 caliber casings. Mm-hmm. And she had just purchased
a gun in Oklahoma.
Like, in Oklahoma. She lived in Oklahoma. And like the day of the murder, the gun store in her town there in Oklahoma said that she went and bought a 38 caliber gun.
Yep.
And was like, I gotta go do some shooting now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So based on that, the DNA, and then there was a black, like, attaché, I believe, fancy, a black case that they also found in the home that had paperwork that was Alberta's. It was clear that the stuff in this case was Alberta's, and it was a lot of paperwork that was after the divorce, so dated.
It would not.
It would have been, and she tried to claim that she had been to the home like a year before. And,
right,
like,
and the
left
son
it
said
there.
he hadn't been there in forever either. Right. The son has also been known to state that he had threatened to kill his dad, but he didn't mean it.
But it was just like, you know.
Yeah, because we all say that
right
to our parents.
Of course.
Michael thinks he's being set up, even though his DNA was there, and he claimed he hadn't been to the house in forever. But so they get.
Yeah, and we talked about the gun. So the gun salesman said that she kept repeating about purchasing the gun. She needed a gun. When she was questioned about the 38 caliber gun, she basically tells detectives, like, it's gone. Know. It's missing. I don't know where this gun was that I really needed.
And I don't know when I lost it.
Yeah. So super kind of weird.
Sketchy.
Sketchy about the gun. Yeah.
Sketch City.
Oh.
Oh, no, empty shell casings were found.
But they could tell, I think, that he was shot by
spent rounds.
Yes, yeah. That's right.
So,
and
if you know your ballistics.
Yes.
Which I don't.
Which we don't.
I don't know what any of that means.
Oh, someone's turning in here, looks like.
Oh.
So here we go.
Okay.
We're going to pause this and we're going to get out of here. Okay.
Is he unlocking the gate?
I don't know. Okay,
Did
so
they
what
drive by before?
What just happened, so you know, is we were in this little bitty
kind of
like turn off.
But had a gate.
It had a gate that was like a big yellow metal,
like a park's gate.
Yeah, like you would find at a park that's like, this is closed. It had a big padlock on it and the little turn off, but it's really close. I mean, the property, we could see the property from where we were seated. You know, we were paranoid anyway. They had a dog there. So we've been recording this whole time, and this truck just pulls in, and it's a small area, like pulls really close.
Didn't wait for us to move.
Didn't wait for us to move. Didn't wave. it was kind of weird. So we immediately
we're leaving.
just like put
Like,
paperwork
peace out.
down and then peaced out. So we are going to find another spot to park kind of in the area.
Yeah,
and we'll be right back.
Okay, so we are safe. If you're worried about us, we have gone to a secondary location. Okay, there was a white truck, but
Slowed down
it's
a little
not
bit.
the same one though. Okay, I don't think.
We said we were safe. We are at a little trailhead. It's right off of is it Kansas here?
Yeah.
North the highway, just north of I-44. It's,
Highway 13.
Yes. So it's a little trailhead, little park area. We are good to go.
Yeah. All right. So continuing on. So as I said, they were investigating Alberta and the son Michael. Nothing came of it. Okay. Fast forward another year. So now we're 2 years past the death, the murder. And one of his adopted daughters, Faith Stalker, files a wrongful death suit against her mother.
So yeah.
So there's that. And so this is actually a very rare, because typically a wrongful death suit,
A civil case.
doesn't precede an actual criminal case. It's usually the other way around.
Yes.
So the judge went ahead and
allowed it.
So
while this investigation is still going on for 2 years.
Yep. It's an open investigation.
It's an open investigation. The daughter goes ahead and takes the mom to civil court.
Yep.
And says, I believe that you, not murder, because that would be criminal, but wrongful death.
Right.
Like she played a part in this somehow. And so it goes to trial.
Yep.
Of course, takes time. So when does it actually go to trial? It's
2011?
Yeah. So this happened in 2007. The murder happened in 2007. She files the suit
2009, and then the actual trial, civil trial, is 2011.
And still, at this point, 4 years now.
Yep.
Nothing.
Still
Still
it's
investigating.
A
cold case, essentially.
But
so yeah.
Long story short. No, testimony. Day one, go.
So it goes to trial. It was a 3-day trial.
Yeah.
There were several people on the stand. The daughter, of course, other family members. The stalker's attorney. Basically, they kind of tried to claim that Alberta was out to harm Roland the whole time. She was upset because of his changing sexuality, which led to the divorce, and because of the settlement issues, like that was kind of, she was out to get him, basically, was their argument. And defense kind of argued for Alberta, saying there was no physical evidence, like DNA, that put her at the home. So that's basically what they had to go off of, was there's no physical evidence that she was there.
Right.
There's a lot of circumstantial stuff, but you can't really technically prove it, so therefore, you got nothing.
And the defense also pointed out that she apparently has health issues.
Yes.
Like she's had 2 strokes and suffers from dementia. But that's only mentioned like a little. So I don't know if it was actually documented.
Right.
I don't know. There's that.
But then prosecution kind of continued to bring up the fact that, like, then why was your bag there? Why were all of these why was this paperwork dated after the divorce? And there was even some health paperwork in the bag that was even later than that.
It was like a health directive.
Yes.
That was dated after
she had been gone for a long time from the home. So that was kind of the arguments here, is like, was she in the home? Was she not? Was there evidence? That sort of thing. So that was kind of the first day of the trial, and sort of what they had going for that.
Okay, so day 2, the secretary to Comstock said she was involved in creating a trust with her former boss, and it excluded Alberta from receiving any of his assets. So, when we're talking about murder, it's what are the causes? I mean, like revenge or money, right?
Yep.
So, I think we're on to something here.
Yep.
She told the court that Alberta was screaming for revenge, quote unquote. and that he believed she would try to ruin him.
This was his assistant. So she said,
Yeah. And he had said that she probably wished she'd dropped dead of a heart attack. That's what the assistant said.
Yes, and the defense argument was like, well, just saying you wish someone would drop dead of a heart attack isn't the same as like actually killing them, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
even though her and the son are both now quoted as saying
they wanted him dead, basically, yeah.
And then what? He's dead? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they interviewed the gunsmith from the shop, right? That was the day 2 of the trial.
Mm-hmm. And let's see what else. Sorry. Gas station employee also testified about seeing her around the time of the murder in Monette. I guess that was important in pinpointing where she was. And now they're claiming, the defense, that she wasn't physically strong enough with one hand and one finger to pull the trigger. Which is not like,
I've seen the movie, like 2 hands, 2 fingers, like you could make it work.
We've seen movies.
I've seen TV. Like I know you can shoot a gun with 2 hands.
Yep. So anyway, that was basically day 2. The divorce lawyers also took the stand, and the fact that no criminal charges have been filed was also brought up, obviously.
Day 3 of the trial, that's when Alberta herself was on the stand. So she gave her testimony. It got pretty personal. She talked about their 38-year marriage. She says it was a happy marriage. They traveled together, and they raised 5 children together. But that the reason they got divorced was because she found out he kind of had this different lifestyle. She cried. She, basically talked about kind of how this impacted her, that sort of thing. But she was also asked a lot of questions that were posed during the death investigation. So a lot of questions while they were investigating, they brought those up to her on the stand, and she didn't answer any of them. She pled the 5th to like a ton of stuff. Right. So she talked...
So not to incriminate herself.
Exactly.
I watch Law & Order.
Yeah, I know. I know that 5th Amendment stuff.
That's right. So at the end, like you said, it's a 3-day trial. So 9 of the 12 jurors found Alberta at fault in the wrongful death of her ex-husband, meaning that they believe she likely caused his death. She was ordered to pay $125,000 in punitive damages to Faith Stalker, the stepdaughter. And I don't know why they're calling her stepdaughter. She was adopted.
Yeah, I know. That doesn't make sense.
Not good wordage.
No.
Anyway,
it said, as far as like at that point, when the verdict was released, they kind of talked about, well, we're not sure where the money's going to go exactly, but we'll decide that at another hearing, like in the future. But she. And
then of course they were going to appeal it. They talked about they'll definitely try to appeal it.
And they did say, though, that that this would have no... So, like, Greene County prosecutors said it has no effect on, like, criminal charges. That they were still going to be investigating. That they were going to not let this civil case kind of affect the criminal investigation as well.
Even though it's a weird setup.
Really weird setup.
So...
Because it's backwards.
Yeah.
It kind of gets to the... what ends up happening. So the verdict was July of 2011. August of 2011, the next month, a judge basically throws out the damages in the case. He went against the jury's verdict, throwing out the damages because I don't know all of the details about it, but they basically said that it has something to do with, it says judgment notwithstanding the verdict. And you can do that if there's something kind of
weird about
the case. And so I'm guessing because
there wasn't a criminal trial first.
Right. That they then...
Well, that sucks. They went through all of that. And then
she was found guilty in civil court. And then the judge ends up throwing it out anyway. Right. So as far as we know, I'm guessing no money was ever exchanged hands.
Yep. And so here we are, 2019,
Mm-hmm.
and
Still,
no criminal charges have been filed.
there's a lot of the sheriff has been interviewed since then saying we have a lot of evidence, we've got a lot of leads, we're still investigating this. It's not a cold case, it's an active investigation. But also,
But nothing.
it's 2019, you know,
That's
12 years later. Right? 2007?
Yep.
I mathed that real quick.
good mathing.
But like, nothing.
Nope. So it's sad, you know. But
And I mean, we can speculate. And you can speculate. We're not
Yes.
going to say who we
I
think
mean, we
did
can
it.
say what our opinion is. I
Ex-
think she did it.
I think her son helped her.
Yep.
They had his DNA.
Yep,
She was suddenly missing a 38 caliber gun when he was shot with 38 caliber bullets, and she bought it the day of the murder. She lives in Oklahoma, but was seen at a Monette, Missouri gas station on her way from Oklahoma. Left a briefcase there
Right.
with all her shit in it.
Unfortunately, it's like a couple of dumbasses got away with murdering this man.
Yeah,
Essentially,
yeah.
it doesn't seem
over
like
money
it should be
and-
hard to solve.
Yes, that's.
You know, I don't understand.
And I guess I'm wondering if they're not taking it to trial because of the whole reasonable doubt thing. Like, are they, until they know for sure? Like, would you go? I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't
But
either. But that's my opinion.
Yeah.
And in case you're worried about the book collection, just to wrap it all up.
because we did spend a lot of time
We
on those
did.
books, so
Well,
let's.
I was impressed with the book
let's
collection.
circle back.
So, just saying, after his death, there's a bookstore in Washington, D.C., who actually acquired a big chunk of his collection. I think it said...
They're calling it like the Comstock Collection or something, weren't they?
Yeah, it has an actual name, the Comstock Collection. It was known around, you know, the book collecting world. So he did acquire that. He got 12,000 books and 5,000 magazines from the collection.
So like it's kind of cool that his collection is still out there.
Yeah.
That he's sort of still around.
Yep, in that
Which
way.
is neat.
So, anyway, well, that is the wrap up of the Roland Comstock murder. If you have information that you would like to pass along, I'm sure the Greene County Sheriff's Department would love any information that you might have.
Good. That was good.
That sounded
That was
official.
really good. That
I
was
just made it
official.
up, guys.
So yeah, thank you very much for listening. This one was an interesting one.
It
with
was.
the
I mean,
paranoia.
there's a lot happening.
There was a lot going on with this episode.
Sorry if we seemed a little
scattered
scattered. We got scared.
a couple times.
Yeah.
You can find us at Murder Tour on Twitter. Our email is 417hmt@gmail.com.
We're on iTunes, we're on Podbean, and Google Play.
So find us, subscribe, rate us, and
Only if it's good.
only if it's good. And keep listening.
Yep. We'll see you next time.
Bye.